Tonight, breaking news out of the Middle East shakes the world. At this hour, the United States and Israel have unleashed a massive joint assault on Iran, striking deep into its heart and claiming the life of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Explosions rock Tehran. Missiles rain down. Iran vows revenge, firing back at American bases and Israeli cities. Chaos grips the region. Oil routes shut down. Protests erupt. The death of a leader who ruled for decades. A power vacuum looms. What happens next could reshape global alliances. Stay with us as we dive into this escalating crisis. We now turn to a deeper examination of this profound geopolitical upheaval, where the elimination of Iran's supreme leader represents a calculated pivot in long-standing tensions. The strikes, initiated in the pre-dawn hours of February 28, 2026, were a coordinated operation between the United States and Israel dubbed Operation Epic Fury. Intelligence from the CIA pinpointed Khamenei's location during a high-level meeting in his Tehran compound, allowing for precise targeting that adjusted timelines for maximum surprise. This assault extended beyond the leadership, encompassing over 500 military objectives across 24 of Iran's 31 provinces, including ballistic missile arrays, air defense systems, drone launch sites, and remnants of the nuclear program previously degraded in a June 2025 conflict. The methodology involved approximately 200 Israeli fighter jets deploying hundreds of munitions, supplemented by American air, land, and sea assets, including innovative low-cost one-way attack drones used in combat for the first time. The rationale underpinning these actions stems from Iran's persistent pursuit of nuclear capabilities and ballistic missile development, which Western intelligence assessed as an imminent threat to regional stability and global security. By neutralizing Khamenei, described by President Trump as one of the most evil figures in history, and key figures such as IRGC Commander Mohammad Pakber, Defense Minister Aziz Nasserzadeh, and top advisor Ali Khamenei, the operation sought to dismantle the command structure of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and curtail Iran's support for proxy groups like Hamas. This was not an impulsive act, but a strategic response to Iran's alleged assassination attempts on Trump and its role in destabilizing actions, including the October 7 attacks. The strikes also aimed to foster conditions for regime change, with Trump publicly urging Iranians to seize control of their government, framing the moment as a historic opportunity to end nearly 5 decades of theocratic rule. Transitioning to the Iranian response, the regime's retaliation underscores the resilience of its military infrastructure despite the blows inflicted. Immediately following the initial barrage, the IRGC launched multiple waves of missiles and drones, over 130 missiles and 190 drones in total, targeting 27 U.S. military bases across the Middle East, including Al-Udeid in Qatar, Al-Dhafra in the UAE, and the Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. Explosions reverberated in Doha, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi, with debris causing civilian casualties, such as 1 death in Abu Dhabi and 16 injuries in Qatar. In Israel, Iranian projectiles struck Tel Aviv and Beit Shemesh, resulting in 1 woman's death and 121 injuries, though most were intercepted by advanced defense systems. Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point for 1/5 of global oil supply, exemplifies the economic leverage employed in countering the aggression, leading to a 70% drop in shipping traffic and anticipated oil price surges of $3 to $5 per barrel. Domestically, Iran declared a 40-day national mourning period and 7 days of public holidays, with state media portraying Khamenei's death as martyrdom during Ramadan. Crowds rallied in Tehran's Engelab Square, clad in black, chanting slogans against America and Israel, while in other areas like Shiraz and Isfahan, segments of the population celebrated with fireworks and music, revealing deep societal fractures. The succession process, governed by Iran's constitution, now falls to the Assembly of Experts, an 88-member body tasked with electing a new leader from potential candidates like Mojtaba Khamenei or Ghalam Hossein Mohsenejad. In the interim, a council comprising President Masoud Pezeshkian, the judiciary head, and a Guardian Council jurist will oversee governance, ensuring continuity amid vows of a crushing response. This vacuum, however, risks internal unrest, as evidenced by protests in Baghdad attempting to storm the U.S. embassy and warnings from Iranian officials that regional allies facilitating strikes would become legitimate targets. On the international stage, reactions reflect a tapestry of caution, condemnation, and calculated support, highlighting the delicate balance of global diplomacy. President Trump asserted that diplomacy with Iran is now simpler, while Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu emphasized the removal of an existential threat, expressing gratitude for U.S. leadership. Allies like Canada, under Prime Minister Mark Carney, endorsed the strikes as necessary to curb Iran's role as a source of instability and terrorism, with Australia echoing concerns over nuclear proliferation. Conversely, Russia decried the actions as unprovoked aggression violating international law, and China urged an immediate halt to military operations, stressing respect for Iran's sovereignty to avert disruptions in energy markets. European leaders, including British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron, and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, issued joint calls for restraint and a return to negotiations, condemning Iranian retaliatory strikes while avoiding direct endorsement of the U.S.-Israeli operation. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency meeting at the behest of Bahrain and France, with Secretary General Antonio Guterres warning of an uncontrollable chain of events. Broader implications extend to economic spheres, where lingering geopolitical uncertainty has prompted analysts to rethink crude oil forecasts, incorporating a risk premium that could elevate Brent prices to $80–90 per barrel amid potential supply disruptions from the Strait of Hormuz. Civilian tolls exacerbate the humanitarian dimension, with reports of 200 to 201 deaths and 700 to 747 injuries in Iran, including tragic strikes on schools in Minab and east of Tehran that claimed dozens of children's lives. These events not only amplify fears of a protracted regional war, but also underscore the challenges of achieving regime change without organized opposition, potentially mirroring complexities seen in past interventions. In summary, the death of Ayatollah Khamenei marks a watershed moment, potentially unraveling Iran's theocratic framework while inviting unforeseen escalations that could engulf the Middle East in broader conflict. As the world watches, the path forward demands prudent diplomacy to mitigate humanitarian costs and economic fallout. This is the Global News Network, signing off with a reminder that in times of crisis, truth remains our guiding light. Good night.